Hello folks, Brew here. Another modern playtest session for you folks. This time around that's a Bant versus Eldrazi Tron. Not the matchup you will commonly see, but still an interesting one. It's very interactive and well, Tron is one of the decks that you should be expecting to see a lot, together with all the flavors of Death Shadow. It's not nowadays just Giant with White Splash. It could be Absent Death Shadow, it could be Grixis, it could be 4-color, it could be Sultai Death Shadow. So they're all different variations and builds. And then, because the third deck probably will be Absent Company, or it could be like Green-White, all-in Vizier deck with Voice Resurgence in it. But mostly it's just Absent one, which will be probably all in on the combo, because people will try to copy the list from the Star City Games events. That means that there will be play sets of all the cards that actually do most of work in the matchup, well, in the deck I mean. And then think about it, this Bant Flash, it can counter a bunch of spells from Death Shadow. It has Path for Shadows and Eldrazi's. It again has counters for whatever company deck tries to do. Also has removal. It's very tempo deck, and also it can be tailored to address whatever matchup that is. So yeah. And bit of a fun fact about company deck. Well, Stony Silence might be good not just against, Eldrazi and Tron and Affinity of course, but it also can trump the mirror if you actually have, a Redcap or Uranus in a deck, so that Stony Silence doesn't kill your Ballista chain, but it kills theirs. And I think the default build actually plays just 2 ballistas for the kill, because they can go like infinite life, but then they can't actually use ballista, and then you just simply go for the kill yourself with Uranus or other things. Of course they would have probably bringing in the Kim or Maelstrom Pulse, but still it could be a pretty tough lock. So start off here with a Temple. He fetched an island and cast Visions. I'm just waiting to draw a card here after he Visions. Okay, he's been just shuffling the deck. But yeah, because it's playtest, we can kind of, act rather quickly. Apologies for the tough lighting in the room. Did what I could, try different setups. Should probably check it out more before pressing the button, but the point is that it looked okay, and then we did what we did, and then after the recordings at home I saw like what happened. So yeah, definitely should check it out more. I mean, have some test recording runs. So I don't know what I was waiting for here, and what I was actually counting. Anyway, these are the 2 cards that I will be just like slam dunk on the battlefield. Second sample, Fatness here. Yep. And yeah, the Bant Flash is the full proxy deck, well printed with color printer, and would love to have this deck on paper. I have most of the cards for it, but not all of them. Like, don't have the vials. But the deck is super sweet, and it's always interesting to playtest with it, even though it doesn't really represent any, existing decks, so to speak, in the format. So I think there is, well, a spell starter, freelance, all different shocklands, restoration angel. I think there was a vial too. It's kind of strange that he decided not to cast a turn one. It's not like he needed to dig for something particularly. Maybe he was just trying to dig for path, because spell starter is actually not that amazing in this matchup, and you kind of see why. I guess he was trying to find paths or vapor snag. I think this deck actually ran like 3 paths and 1 vapor snag, because a lot of the time it's kind of the same, because you're a tempo deck with a bunch of flyers in it. Okay, here's just a ballista for 1 after I attacked with the footnot. That kind of prevents him from slim dunking spell starter. He's a bit flooded here, but his starting hand was pretty good. He noted just to find a path or something for the first big threat in play. Resta blocks a lot of stuff game 1, for example, but yeah. Without nobles, the matchup is a bit too fast for the flash. Okay, footnotes already attacked twice. That's kind of crazy, I should say. Okay, and what is that? Another ballista for 2. Was that it? What else could be on 4 or on 5? Not exactly sure. Okay, it's not a ballista because it doesn't have counters. Oh yeah, it's an Endbringer, right, because I have double temple, right. So yeah, casual turn 4 Endbringer with already stuff on board before that. Yeah. He just scoops it up because that's just too much. Show him like another land, another temple, I think, and just do Chalice in the hand. So yeah, Chalice is not always the answer for everything. And that's why right now I actually split it out, so I've moved 1 to the side. I also made a few more adjustments to the deck after I just saw the results of all the Star City events that I did watch, but I didn't watch them till the end because did other things, and also wanted to sleep, for example, because they were on for the night in my region. What else? So now in Tron, I'm basically kept 1 bomb in, sliced in a warping whale, put back the mind stones because, well, I kind of want to actually have the chance to get a chalice in certain matchups a bit quicker. Then what else? Took out the Better Skull, moved one Better Skull to the board, so it's like 2 skulls and 2 colors in the side. Moved to 1 chalice to the side. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So not only I returned back a couple mind stones, but I kept in 1 wretched and added 1 warping whale. Basically, why I did this because of the popular matchups like Shadow and Company, and then Veil is just a flexible card to have main deck. It can counter, for example, Traverse or whatever from Death Shadow. doesn't really touch their creatures, but it could act as a spear, kind of one-time Mindstone effect. I really didn't like drawing multiple chalices in game once. Still wants access to Ratchet in the main. So moved Skull because, well, unless I hit all burn matchups at the GP, I should be okay. That should be the right move. But I still want a bunch of anti-red cards in the side. And color actually is good, not just in red matchups, but also, you know, against Shadow coupled with Ballistas or Endbringer. I think he was on the play. He didn't do anything for 2 turns. I made a turn 1 map. I made a turn 1 map, and now I'm actually just thinking what land to play here. I don't think I had Tron just yet. That looks like a temple to me. Yeah. He doesn't have land destruction, but he does have spread in his after side, but this is still a main deck game. Brigand Pool Pass. I guess he just doesn't have good stuff to play. Yeah, I think he fetched here, right, for the Brigand Pool. Important to notice that among things, Sprite can counter the map. It can counter Chalice on 1, for example. No, it can't. Or can it? Well, basically, if you hit like a click or a Motivault, of which there are like 3 or 4 in the land base, Sprite counters a 2-drop. But yeah, Sprite is mainly there for small stuff. Mana Dorks for all the 1 mana spells from Shadow decks. Because of the sideboard, the Flash deck also has a very good affinity matchup. You have all the flyers in the world, a bunch of cool things you can do, like Violent Reclamation Sage, counter something with Familiar's Ruse, bounce that Sage back to your hand, put it back in with the Vial next turn, break up something. So yeah, you could do like really sick stuff. You can then blink that Reclamation Sage with Resto Angel. So yeah, this Bant Flash deck can, once it gets going, you can do a bunch of cool things. Also, you can do like really cool things if you ramp out and attack with one of the swords in the deck. So there's a Fire Ice and a Vision Famine in the deck. So search up a mine. Yeah, so I don't think I have Tron in my hand. I think it's just another tower. But I'm liking a power plant, and I've been liking mine as well. So there's not gonna be any super fast mana anytime soon. I guess with all the ghost quarters and stuff and around and paths and spread in seas and blood moon and stuff like that, I guess the Eldrazi Tron kind of slightly safer than the banned version of it. Not entirely sure, but at least with the Tron you can still cast your stuff if you have enough lands, though your curve is a bit higher on average, I think, because of stuff like Endbringer. But then again, the band has Drowner. Okay, dropping the mine, and okay, and here's another map that he just sprites down here. so that I don't get to Tron mana. That's a Wretched Bomb, I guess. I think. Yeah, I think that's a Wretched Bomb. Because that day I didn't have Mind Stones. Oh yeah, so Wretched gets Spell Sneered. Another card that's kinda interesting right now. At least against the Coco deck. Even though they could be, slam dunking some sick companies and Corsi callings and stuff like that. So that's a thing. So now he goes up to 4 mana if he has a land here. And that's the dangerous territory because then he can do oh so many things. Mystic Snake, Resto, Venser, and of course everything that costs less than 4. Femlor's Ruse, countering whatever, getting back Sprite, things like that. The deck is just really sweet, let me just put it this way. I always love to play with it or against it. I try to smash it here, it seems. Yeah, because I was on 5 mana with the Temple. Or it was a Footnoser? No, it was probably a Smasher. Which got countered with a Mystic Snake. So he smashes in for free. And yeah, this Flash deck is not, so explosive, like so fast. But it chips in with all the damage because a lot of your stuff is just, spell on the stick, so yeah. What's that? Another Smasher, I think. And that's Resto, Flickry, Clack, Mystic Snake. Oh no, that was Endbringer, right? That was Endbringer, sorry. Anyway, get countered with the Mystic Snake, which get blinked from Resto. And this is why you love the deck. You counter stuff, you actually add a threat to the board, and be merry. Well, here's a wild that's not gonna do much, but you might as well cast it if you didn't have a First Knowledge in hand to, to pitch it to that. More mana, but yeah, I'm in a tough shape here. I'm in a pretty tough shape here. Well, here's a Smasher that I think I should have tapped 1 less mana for. I still don't have Tron, but oh yeah, okay. What? I don't get it. Okay, so I tried the Dismember. So I tapped 1 extra for Dismember. Well, I mean for the Smasher. Tapped 1 extra for that card, and I still had mana no matter what for Dismember. But yeah. Cast a path with my Smasher, discards a Vision, smashes in with the team, and that's lethal. And that's lethal, yeah. So scooping it up and on to the next game, and I think that'll be a post-sideboard one. I definitely expect him to take out the Vapor Snack, because, well, it's not good to, bounce a Smasher well, it's fine to bounce Endbringer, but it's not cool like to bounce Footnoser, for example. Or, well, it actually kinda cool to bounce Ballista, on the other hand, or bounce a Hanger Backwalker. Yes, it's a proxy act, so don't be surprised, and there could be anything in the sideboard of that deck, that's for sure. So Rift Temptation is pretty cool, because you can Violet in, still in Symphatic. Spread and Seize is cool, it cantrips, blocks a land. It's not amazing, but it's gonna help. It's gonna help. At least it cycles, so that's the cool part about it. It doesn't necessarily destroy the land though. He's thinking about Glen Alandra for all the crazy stuff I might be bringing in, and against main deck cuts too. Stony Silence is kinda tricky. If he brings one or two of those, you might want to cut on vials. Bringing in an extra Wretched Bomb for sure, so that would be Wretched number 3. Can't quite distinguish what else was that. Coilers and Hingerbacks are quite okay. But yeah. An extra Better Skull is okay here, because essentially he's an aggro deck, so, and he doesn't have a combo in it. Order Command and Cryptic Commands are nice here. I'm not sure if Glenorlandry actually is worth it, but it still counters Always Dust, for example, and you can vial this in, so kinda like extra counter from the I'm not sure what he takes out here. I think, you know, taking out some sprites is correct, probably. Taking out the Vapor Snack might be correct, but I'm not sure. Well, he knows now that I'll be bringing Hanger back, so this is why maybe he should have kept it in. He takes out the source that I kind of get, but their card advantage installs both of them. The protection doesn't work, but most of your creatures are flying. But then again, he wants to bring in a lot of ways to actually slow me down or interact with me. This is why I'm kinda like okay with that. I think I'm just taking out Chalices and Reshapers. And yeah. Problem with the Hangerbacks, he still has Path, he still has Solver, so he steals my Hangerback with the Solver. That's kind of annoying. Then my attacks can't really go through. And yeah, bringing in bombs, all these dusts, and so on. Better Skulls, Colors, extra Wretched, stuff like that. Hangerbacks, which I'm not sure I'm supposed to actually bring in this matchup, but it's a good mana sink. And yeah, but then with Path I don't get tokens, he still flies, so he can kind of ignore it, or his creatures are not that big to actually kill it most of the time. So I don't know if I'm supposed to actually bring them. Yeah, cutting on Spell Snares or Spell Pierce is kind of okay, keeping 1/1 in. Something like that could be okay. Though, I don't know. Might be alright to keep both, and I guess I like Spell Pierce a little bit more than Spell Snare in this matchup, but Snare still has targets like Chalice, and well, there won't be Chalice anymore, but there will be Russian Bomb and maybe some Ballista or Hangerback on 2, for example. Okay, not that many targets, indeed, but there could be like Whirping Whales or Spatial Contortions, so I think keeping 1 is definitely correct. Plus, most builds play Ratchet and Mindstone, and both are good in this matchup, I think. Yeah, Supremacy is not absolutely amazing, but it contributes. So it's like playing Sansa, basically. Well, a bit worse, but yeah. He just wants to slow me a little down a bit, and I think once he stabilizes the game and cuts me off big mana of Tron or Temples, then he actually can take over in the long game. Although he took out the sword, so he has much less of those grindfest card advantage capacities. But he still has like a cryptic, Ochutize command, stuff like that. It doesn't bring all that much though, but it still like counters a creature and draws a card, so which is still alright. The main point why it's in the sideboard of that deck at all is because it's even a little bit better than a cryptic command, because you can counter something or draw a card and bring back Spellstarter Sprite to counter some small drop, for example. So that is relevant in my mind, and also gaining for life is also pretty good, so it's kind of a part of that kitchen thing slash Fractusk package, which I think he probably should have poured it in. Those are decent blockers. Well, at least he should have brought in Fractusk, that's for sure. In this matchup, like, Fractusk would be pretty amazing, I would say. And I don't think he poured it in. But he poured it in both silvers. Although I think he should have just boarded it to one of them. Let's see, what kind of existing or common deck in modern format we can compare this Bant Flash to. I suppose the closest among decks that you might face at upcoming big events would probably be something like Bant Spirits or Jeskai Geisa Saintras kind of tempo deck. Those are probably the closest ones to compare with. And Bant Spirits or just Spirits is actually might be a thing. Bant Nightfall is a different thing. That deck is quite different. So yeah, Bant Spirits is the closest. It's also a Bant. Yeah. Actually, I should be updating this Bant Flash deck with spell quellers and stuff, and maybe Collected Company. Then it will be a different deck. A little bit. But it's something that I can technically build, but also something that I probably don't think I wanna, bring to the next event I play, for example the GP, without some amount of testing. But it's a deck that I probably should be trying out after the next 2 GPs I'm going in Europe. He has the vial here, and I had a map that I'm prepared to use up now. So vial is what, at 1? Yeah, I started first because I lost the previous one, and on top of that I think it was my turn to start, because oftentimes in testing we're trying to take shifts who goes first, so that it's kind of like more even, instead of if somebody gets like a few games in a row, then the opponent gets to go first so many games in a row. That's just wrong way of approaching the play test. He just had a tapped shotgun go. I cracked up the map for the third Tron piece. Got a mine there. I think I had some spare towers or plants in my hand, so that if it goes for spreading seas, I could still get the Tron back online. In matchups which are not too fast or full of removal, you could cut on some nobles with the Bant deck, and if you bring in Stony Silence, of course you probably want to cut on Aver Vials, plus they're just not that great in multiples, even in this deck. The curve is a bit higher than you would expect, but in the Spirits version the curve is so low that maybe you don't want to cut on those. But then again, I think the Bant Company version it's not running vials at all, as far as I remember. It can, but it's just not that good because you'd rather have those spell slots for paths and stuff like that, and then you still have to maintain the high creature count for company. But yeah, if you have the cards, I think it's kind of crime not to play with green if you're on Spirits build. Well, here's a Tron and Endbringer, which has gotta be pretty oppressing if not dealt with pretty quickly. So yeah, me on the play was a huge factor, I should say. So I don't know how the Bant deck is supposed to get out of this. If he closes down my Tron, then it takes up a turn and I still have Endbringer in play, so ideally he would want to have something like a third land, Seas, and Path for the Bringer. Still possible considering that he still should have like 3 paths in the deck and 4 spreading seas, so yeah. The math is in his favor, but because he didn't do this right away and still thinking what to do, so that means he doesn't have it or have like one of those. Maybe he doesn't even have the third land here. I hope he does, so that perhaps he could try to, get to 4 mana and then, I don't know, Venser and Bringer, and in the meantime also try to close out my Tron. In this version, maybe there's a chance that the Reliquary could do a thing. Then you get a toolbox with Ghost Quarters and stuff. And yeah, Bant Nightfall with Spellcaller's Company, Reliquary, Nobles, the Ghost Quarters stuff going on. That could be a good deck choice actually for the Copenhagen, I think. Or just a classical like Bant Spirits, because, well, the axis on which Bant Spirits operates is also pretty cool. You could have good beatdowns, you have removal, you have counters. So yeah, why not? You're not a combo deck, so yeah. I'd love to see that. Okay, so he cracks a fetch in response to this footnote. So here I'm casting next turn. Imagine if he had something like turn to spreading saves, that would be pretty useful. Yeah. But I was on the play, so that kind of messed it all up. I think he might have missed the third land drop for a turn. I know I'm starting and he's at 3. And then it was like... No, he could have prevented... So he had last turn spread-ins... No, the turn before spread-ins. I think he could have prevented Unbringer if he drew a fast spread-ins. Yeah, what he has in there? Land, Ruse, Visions, Solver, Pierce, Ogitize Command. What else? Is that Stony Silence there? So he has a 4th land, it seems. Yeah, so he's pointing out that probably should take either Solver or Oju. Esper Dragons is also like actually a legitimate deck in Modern, I think. You can build it in such a way to actually address the format pretty well. You also have the Fatal Push, so yeah, you can brew. One can definitely brew and play with some dragons in Modern, and not red ones, like with Storm Breath from Scred Red. It doesn't have to be that. Just because you have Path and Push and 1 mana counters or cantrips, and then there are not that many control decks. You just have ramp, creature combos, and, well, super fast creature mid-range. I don't know how to call shadow decks, whatever version that is. So yeah, Unbringer attacked. See if Footnotes doesn't play Unbringer. He would really need like a Supreme Verdict here, which should be probably in the sideboard of this deck, I think. 1 or 2. Just for situations like this, for example. Or when company kind of went all in and tapped out. Or against Death Shadow, for example. Yeah. I don't know if Bant Spirits actually plays any verdicts in the sideboard. It could, but then that deck has Spell Queller. This one doesn't really care that much about stuff like that. He scoops it up because, like, come on, this was just such a non-game. This is always that, so missing one, but I'm getting one today. But I'm not sure. With a bunch of company decks, maybe one again over one Karn or one Always Does could be a thing. I don't know. Then again, that deck is actually pretty darn fast, so it's hard to say what's better. Again, it's probably better against company, but then with fast Tron, Karn just comes down turn earlier, for example. So it's really hard to say what's better. Normally Karn is better. And yeah. Well, you can cast Always Dust also faster. Yeah, probably shouldn't really dawdle around with Ogins. Just because of the need for speed, let's put it this way. Because of Temples you can cast the Always Dust faster. Same goes for Karn with the Tron lands. Yeah. Both do the job against Shadow and company, so yeah. They all do the job. They all do the job. And Ogin just might be late. Just because you wouldn't be able to cast it on curve, and then they just, combo over, kick your ass, and yeah. And you're stuck to that Ogin in hand. That you sometimes might not be even able to cast if they have like Fulminator or things. But there are definitely some cases, like you saw against Black-White Eldrazi Taxes in the previous tape, where if that card would have been Ugin and not just all his dust, I would have won that game. But yeah, overall, told you what's better, for what reasons. Fetch and passing off the turn. So let's hope I hit something good here. Let's plant into map. That's a good beginning. It's definitely a good start. Oh, actually the map gets pierced, it seems. So yeah, Spell Pierce is pretty good in this matchup. That's for sure. Though sometimes in certain stages of the format, in certain seasons, this spell is miles better than the Spell Pierce. When the format is dominated by Jesskaiser, Grixis, Control decks, and stuff like that. Okay, here's a spread and season curve to break up my potential Tron. So, pierce the map, seize the land, seize the initiative. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like I would have had the Tron without the map. And now definitely I'm far away from it because of the spread and seize. Which Bant Spirits deck can't really play because of the company, so they'll have to have high creature count. And in those colors you can't play Fulminator. Well, you can't play Mind Sensor. So that's a thing. I actually see that maybe in part due to team constructed nature of the last Star City Open. But then again, in the Classic it's weird to see that company decks basically not necessarily give up on this matchup, but are trying to approach those kind of matchups in a different way. Just try to combo off as fast as possible, it seems. Most of them have Tidehollow colors, but not even all of them. And none of them have Thoughtseize. So they're really just hoping just to assemble the combo as fast as possible. And many even play like as many as 4 copies of Eternal Witness. Here's a Visions. He's really locking down my ramping. So you see already 2 copies of the Seas in play. Yeah, he needs to find a few more answers, and after a while, once I just, kind of, my development is hindered, he can really seize the initiative. Second while doesn't really do all that much, but because I think he's missing land drops here, so okay, that's 5 mana. Okay, with Temple, which I kind of sandbagged in my hand because I knew the seas were coming. So that's a Ninebringer that made a path. So yeah, Mind Sensor with all the paths and stuff could be a thing, and then you mix this deck up with Reliquary, maybe Arbiter or stuff like that. But that's kind of like a different deck. I'm not sure if I want to, move it in that direction. But yeah, Mind Sensor could definitely see light in the sideboard of this bent flash deck. But yeah, even without the Spirit sub-theme, this deck could, play some Spell Quellers, I suppose. Maybe not. I know, I basically like the list as it is. If you start to add things like Spell Queller, which is actually not that amazing with Resto, so you're slowly shifting it towards the Spirits build anyway. But yeah, in the sideboard you could have a lot of weird stuff. And this deck only plays one Witness because it's a bit hard in mana unless you have Violent free. And Click actually plays out a bit better because you're just oftentimes more concerned about, hindering their development. And the Click is a fairy, so that helps for the spell stutter, for example. And I couldn't fit in, more than one copy of each into this deck because you do want that Venser as a flexible singleton. You do want those Mystic Snakes and stuff. Okay, not sure what Witness returned here. Probably Path. Yeah, you definitely want at least one Witness in this deck for multiple reasons. Suppose he returned the Path. Yeah, I think he did. So he can answer the next big creature thing from me. I have 6 lands in play and a temple, but no Tron. By the way, I currently in the Eldrazi deck, FYI, added the third wastes because of all the co-orders and paths and stuff. Because if you draw, let's say, one manually, and then they just double path you want to be able to search a lot of the time. So this is actually always dust, it's not token. For your information, it gets rid of Witness and all the spreading says. He uses the path on his own Witness just to ramp up a little bit. I'm not sure that's correct. Though I'm not sure I actually unlock a Tron by getting rid of those spreadings. I think I'm still one piece short there. I know I have Tower Mine planned. Yeah, I think I have the Tron here. I think I do have the Tron here, so actually I think you should have kept that path around, but it seems like I didn't have anything meaningful to play with that 5 mana that got unlocked there. I don't think I have anything great there for the same turn. Well, now he can cast or violent a lot of different stuff, but it seems like he's kind of low in action. So this is why he just animates this Mutval to smashing for 2 damage. While I've been at 20 all this time, so now down to 18 life points. Obviously, so yeah, no Cavern at this point in the deck. Here you see me laying down a Tectonic Edge because that day I still had a singleton Crucible of Worlds in my sideboard. Now I don't have any of that stuff, and I cut the Hangerbacks too. Just feel like third waste actually makes a lot of sense right now. So here's the hardcast Mystic Snake on my Endbringer, which is alright. I think he has a Violent 4 at this point, so he can rest to blink the snake. Well, if he didn't have that last turn, he definitely has that option available now. So just think about it. I'm really not sure the Bant Spirits deck or the Nightfall would have been able to actually done so much here. Okay, tech edge takes out Mutzwald, but whatever. Okay, attempting a Dismember end of turn on the snake, so that on my turn I can maybe resolve something important. He actually uses the mana to cast this Rest Angel here, which is kinda weird. Okay, here's another Dismember. I fell down to 10. I took up the rest of so now he has only a snake in play. But maybe I should have taken out the Mystic Snake, because now if he has another resto in his hand, he counters my next big thing. It's kind of weird that, you know, these small edges. Trying to cast a card here. Yes, it's happening. It's just so ridiculous. He basically just threw a middle finger in my face in the air. That's just so crazy. I should have dismembered the Mystic Snake, even though Resto was kind of big a threat and it had flying, so I couldn't actually block it and so on. But yeah, if I would have resolved Karn, then I would get rid of this Rest Angel in play. So yeah, I tried to, like, you know, I could. Now I go down to 5, and if he has an answer for my next big play, I'm basically screwed. But I just drew a land. I know it was a Wretch Bomb, and I had the land in play. And he even had the Nether Path and the Solar of Temptation in hand, so he got me completely locked down this game. Paths, spread and seas, counters for the maps and so on. It's just crazy. Basically destroyed me. I misplayed, but even if I played correctly, I don't think I had a chance in this game, because I had so much going on. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, check the links in the description. I'll see you next time. Goodbye folks.